those of you that believe that juju don't exist, please don't watch this video, because what this man is about to say right now about African spirituality, some of you, your mind will not be able to understand it. This is the Lokiudo experience.
There are forces, there are powers in the world that rule and control the world. Man is not in charge of the earth. Spirituality is this, that you are able to make connection to a higher power. Oftentimes, these powers contact you instead of you contacting them. There are a lot of things I witnessed my father do. People will come, even as far as from Lagos, to come and consult him. They're having issues.
Wow, so African spirituality is real.
Yes, man cannot live without help from a higher power. Even politics, business,
entertainment.
Yes, every area of life is controlled by certain spiritual powers.
Could this be the reason why some people succeed, why some don't?
Oh, that is the reason. You know, Nigerian language, they say, cut soap for me. What is cutting soap for you? Now, there's a secret you have discovered that the other person has not discovered it.
So you talked about leg chain, you talked about waist bead.
Okay. Most people who wear leg chain are from the marine spirits.
Sir, you said your father was a very spiritual man. He was very powerful, that there were so many things he did in his time that if he were to do it today, a lot of people would not believe it.
Yes, my father was a very powerful native doctor that attended to the problems of humanity, diverse problems of life, because life is full of problems, and life fundamentally is spiritual. Take, for example, today there's issue of barrenness, very common. I never knew anybody that came to my father with the challenge of barrenness, that after going through the course of treatment, that did not give birth to children. I know women, I still remember some of them who are alive today that my father attended to. And after the course of treatment, they became mothers of children.
Wow. So what are those things your father did that our modern doctors today cannot do? Can you tell us those practical things he did for these women?
Okay. There are, when you come with the issue of barrenness, it takes you through a course of treatment. It's local, it's spiritual, I would say, because you will stand at a place, turn his leg round, and it becomes a circle. Do it 7 times. And the woman have to kneel on that circle. Why? With certain concoctions that are already prepared, with some palm kernels, some leaves, and all that, and palm oil. The woman's breast will be massaged, properly massaged. It will go through a kind of massage system for 7 days. And then there's another route. This route is so powerful that it will take for another 7 days. Once she has undergone that course, that woman will conceive.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
What are some other things that your dad did?
Generally, life is full of challenges. And people come every day with diverse kind of issues to him. Now, it could be things that happened years ago. You don't know why you are suffering. You are stagnated. All manner of things. You come, Baba, this and this is happening to me. He goes to make consultation and gives you a solution. Let me give you an example, because we go through life facing different challenges. My elder brother was to marry a lady from a neighboring town who stayed with the stepmother in our village. But the family did not want my elder brother to marry this their daughter. They did so many things to, together and all that. And the next thing was that they took the girl away. But my elder brother was so much in love with her that, look, I must marry this lady. Fine. They took her far away to a town where the River Niger crosses. There's a stream in my village that empties into River Niger. What my father did, what they did was to do some sacrifices and put it in the river, in the stream that flows into River Niger, that she's going to come back. They did that and she didn't come back. Rather, they took her further away. Now, I was present the day the inquiry was being made. What happened? My father used to work with a medium, a lady, a woman. When she comes, there's this shrine that she undresses, puts on a white loincloth, enters. A lot of white chalk, is native chalk, is used, painted up and down. And then she went into the spiritual to find out why she didn't come back. Right there, she made a discovery. What was the discovery? Wow. She said the woman's mother was dedicated to an idol across the Niger. But she crossed over from that, it left that idol, crossed over to that, to the neighboring village across the Niger and married a man there. And that idol came to decimate. People were dying. That family, they were dying. Young men dying. They don't know why they were dying. Because that idol is saying that they took away his wife. And then that this daughter he gave birth to, if my brother will marry her, that idol will come to fight here. So don't marry her. Okay, fine. If that is the case, now, who will he marry? Right there and then, the woman mentioned a family in another town. Describe the family, describe the lady that my brother was to marry, describe and mention the day they will visit. And what will happen on that day they will visit. The father will not be at home. The father will be at the farm. They will meet the mother peeling cassava. The lady will not be at home initially, but after some time, she will return. And all that. Now, eventually that was what happened. That was who my elder brother married. According to what was found in that shrine. They didn't live there to say, okay, the name was mentioned, the name, the family, and the village and all that. And they found everything the way it was described. I'm talking about, this was in the 70s.
Wow. So African spirituality is real.
Yes. Now, listen, the truth is this, that life, I'm not tired of saying this, life is spiritual. That in the past you don't do things without finding out, without inquiries, and finding out is making spiritual investigation to see this is the venture. I'll give you another illustration because that's what my father used to do. My elder sister was raised in Lagos. When he returned after the war, a man from the neighboring village was coming for her hands in marriage. My sister refused. Reason was that the man was once married and, that he won't marry that man. Again, I was present the day the investigation was made again. That same woman came. And my father presented the case. And wow. You see, what it will appear is that the woman will go into journey or go in the spirit realm go back into time or to find out what happened. It was there, and then my father was told that that man is the rightful husband. You know why? He said, when my mother was pregnant for my senior sister, she went to the market, and passing through this market, they passed through this village to the market. And he met a young man who was coming back from the farm with this, I don't know what they call it now. We'll call it Icheku, black.
Okay, that
black.
it's called vervelt.
Okay, good.
Something vervelt.
Good. So that young boy at that time was coming back from the farm with that. And my mother begged her to say, please give me some of it. And that young man gave him. Now, the interpretation was, it was actually the baby in the womb that desired it and gave him that. That was what linked them, the two of them together. At this time I'm talking about, my mother had died. Had no way of confirming that, yes, he met such a young man on the road when he was pregnant for her daughter. Now, you see, but spiritually speaking, when going into the spiritual, they discover this is what actually happened. And that is the reason why this man is a husband. And eventually, that's the person my senior sister married. There are a lot of things I witnessed my father do. People will come, even as far as from Lagos, to come and consult him. They're having issues, having problems in their offices. Do I talk about, he takes care of pregnant women. No pregnant woman that undergoes the course of medication, though I call it, but that the first time you come, the first course is going to give to you, we keep that child, there will be no miscarriage. And when you deliver, no child suffers any childhood disease. Because through the course of 9 months or so, that when you are pregnant, there are different leaves, roots that you are going to take.
Sir, can you tell us, I wish as you are saying it, you are telling us about these leaves.
Yes.
When a woman wants to give, when a woman that is pregnant wants to give birth successfully,
Yes.
and they come to your father who is a native doctor,
Yes.
what are those things that your father do for them that ensure that they give birth successfully without stress and the child is very healthy?
Now, like I said, there are different roots and leaves and herbs that you don't take. They are different between 1 month to 3 months, different. Then the final, let's say between 8 and 9 months, then certain leaves are gathered together and some roots put in a pot, set on fire, and the whole thing will be burnt and then mixed with this black, what's it called, alcohol in my place. So they will grind everything with some alligator pepper. So that woman will be taking it. Now, that makes the child very, very strong and solid. Now, there are all these childhood diseases that modern day people suffer, measles, this, that. Now, no, you don't, they don't, those things are taken care of while you were pregnant. And when you're going to deliver, it's not, I witnessed it many a time, there's nothing like breech birth. When you come, my father with his hands will measure how the child is in the womb. If he needs to turn the child, he can turn the child. If the child is not well seated, he's not coming with the head, he can turn the child. And he will tell you, go and sit down, it's not yet time. You see that? And then maybe he comes the third time, say, okay, get up. And my brother, they don't deliver on the bed. They deliver on ordinary floor. Ordinary ground, not floor. Ordinary ground, because it's outside behind the house. They've just cut down plantain leaf and put it there. That's where you sit down. And not less than 10 minutes, the baby has come. And you hear the cry of baby. And everybody is rejoicing. So, I mean, the baby is... I remember when he died, some women were pestering me, please, give us this root, give us that, give us that. Because I knew some of the roots. I used to go bring them from the bush, for different types of baby sicknesses. They have different roots that solve them while they are in the womb. And when the child is delivered, is healthy. That's where you have a case where the head is pumping. You don't have it in a baby whose mother my father attended. They are usually very strong and healthy.
Sir, are there leaves that can prevent witchcraft attack?
Well, about witchcraft attack, I don't know about leaves, but I know that there are certain things, certain bark of trees that you can put in your place, and they say it prevents witchcraft attack.
So do you believe them based on what you experienced from your father?
Well, yes, in the past, yes. Okay, not just in the past. These things work for those who are there. But you have to understand that now, somewhere along the line, I became a Christian, born again, and discover a superior power to these other powers. So there are powers. I'm not disputing that, but there is a higher power than these things.
A lot of people who are pastors now would not want to say this. They want to admit that those things are not powerful. No. That's why I love Joshua Selman. Joshua Selman will tell you that there are powers. There are really powers. You see, some of these native doctors, they actually have access to real powers that actually work. But then they will say that there's no power that is greater than the blood of Jesus,
Yes, that's what I would say. Now, listen. Anybody telling you that there are no powers is deceiving, because even the Bible says that there are many gods and there are many lords. But for those of us who are Christians, we acknowledge only one God, and the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. So there are powers. If anybody telling you that there are no powers is deceiving themselves. Now, even in the Bible, Jesus said, I give unto you power over all the powers of the enemy. So the enemy has power. And then when he resurrected, he said, all power in heaven and earth. So there are powers. Anybody who says there are no powers is deceiving themselves.
So tell us more about African spirituality and their powers.
Good. When you talk of spirituality, life is spiritual. Spirituality, you have spirit, spirituality. Okay, so it has to do with spirit. There are forces, there are powers in the world that rule and control the world, the earth. Man is not in charge of the earth. There are spiritual forces that control the earth, the economy, the politics, everything, name it, are being controlled from the realm of the spirit. Now, spirituality is this, that you are able to make connection to a higher power, to a spiritual power. Oftentimes, these powers contact you instead of you contacting them. So when they contact you, you are empowered. You are given power. You are initiated and given the ability to do wonders and do miracles and the rest. Now, so oftentimes life is interpreted in symbols, like I mentioned before, so that there's a connection. There's a connection to the realm of the spirit. Now, for those who are, let me call them agents of these higher powers, maybe native doctor, whatever you call it. Because the native doctor, the power does not belong to him. It is acquired from the realm of the spirit. Certain powers empower this person, telling him what to do. Communication can come in different ways. It could come in a dream. Your dream is so vivid, and you are told, this leaf, this leaf, this leaf, this how to use it. You wake up, and the dream is vivid. You bring the leaves, and you may be told, somebody is coming to see you by tomorrow. This and this and these are his problems. And this and this and these are the solutions. And when the person appears the next day, what do you say? Now the point is this. In life, man cannot live without help from a higher power. Yes, man was not meant to live independent of the higher powers. So, but the problem is the source of this power. Okay? So, that's why, like I said before, even politics, okay? Business,
entertainment.
yes, every area of life is controlled by certain spiritual powers.
Could this be the reason why some people succeed, why some don't?
Oh, that is a reason.
Because
That
I've
is a
always
reason.
wondered
Because
how
you can be doing the same thing with another person, and then that person is succeeding and you are struggling because you know Nigerian language, they say cut soap for me. What is cutting soap for you? Now there's a secret you have discovered that the other person has not discovered it, and you are appealing to him, please help me. Now, for instance, internet has helped us to see, information of what is going on. There is a revival of Ezenwanyis today.
so many of them.
Okay, so many of them.
They are the ones putting on white, and they are always at the river.
Okay, because
Fanta.
from the marine, exactly, from the spiritual world, they are connected. They are empowered to do what? To help people solve their problems.
So those people are not bad people, right?
Well,
because when
it
people
depends
see them,
excuse me, I'm not promoting them. I'm not saying
Yes,
because where I'm coming from, as a Christian, as a pastor, listen, I have destroyed a shrine of an Ezewanyi personally. Okay? Destroyed that shrine, remove everything. It took me 2 days to destroy that shrine. Okay? Because there are powers and there are powers. Okay? The truth is that man cannot solve his problem. He needs help. But instead of, one of the reasons for the revival of Ezewanyi, I'm sorry to say this, is because there is less power in the church today. People are struggling. And then they go out and they are looking for solution. And so recently on YouTube, I watched a so-called pastor who went to acquire power from Ezewanyi to populate his church. And then he had a deal with the Ezewanyi that they will share the things 50-50. And then initially he was cooperating and giving the tithes and offering to Ezewanyi. But then he was given a very big mansion. Now the agreement was that whatever is given, they will have it 50-50. This so-called pastor, in quote, took the house alone. The Ezewanyi afflicted him with sickness, disease. He was dying. And so they went to look for, they were looking for a solution. This is not what hospital will cure. It's spiritual. Until the man looking for a solution asked them to go to send for the Ezewanyi. The Ezewanyi came and said, yes, we entered this deal. You refuse. You fail. Pastor, what kind of a pastor is that? Now, so even at that, he felt, now before that, you know what? That pastor had buried the womb of his wife in the church to help populate the church. Now, is that not spiritual?
That's diabolical and spiritual.
Okay, good. So life is spiritual. And you see people, and you see this person riding a big car. You don't know pastor. So we have all these kind of pastors today. I watched another one, YouTube too. 3 pastors who went to a native doctor to acquire power. And the conditions given to them was that they will be sleeping with married women. And their church will be growing. Now, that is because your question is, are these, they do good? The point is this. Man was created by God to live under God and have fellowship with God. Satan came and lured man away from God. So it's either he depends on God or he must depend on the devil. He cannot live free on his own. And that is why there is this connection with the spiritual world. There is this connection with the spiritual world. Now, I had an encounter many years ago. Now, because a lot of things you see happening in the world, in Nigeria, is spiritual. I mean, there was an assassination that took place many years ago, political assassination in this nation many years ago. I won't mention the states, but it shook the entire nation. The police system was affected. Down the line, I met the guy who carried out that assassination. What happened? He's into crime, robbery.
Where did you meet him?
I'm telling you the story now. So, he was into crime, robbery and all that. At a time, he was locked up in a police cell. While he was in the police cell, he brought a white garment prophet, I emphasize. And then this man who was in a police cell, who was the head of the cell, used his influence, because he's a white garment prophet, to protect him from being harassed and punished by the cell members. Then, after 3 days, the pastor was bailed. He came back to the cell to return the favor this man has done for him, and gave him 3 different colored candles, 3 different colors, and told him to burn the candles one each day for 3 days. And after the 3rd day, that he was going to be released. Somebody who is in police custody, who was held for armed robbery and murder. So that was what happened. He burnt the candle the first day, and on the 3rd day, the pastor came. The white garment, I must emphasize, white garment prophet came, gave him assorted drugs and asked him to drink. So in a moment, he began to faint. And then police were run helter-skelter because they don't want somebody to die in their cell. That was all was arranged by the prophet. So who will bail this man, or who will bail this man? They brought somebody and bailed him. He left the cell. The pastor just poured him water. He revived. And then he went into real robbery. Now, the next thing was that this prophet, he said he took him to the bar beach in Lagos, took him in the middle of the night, made some invocations, and 7 beings came out of the water.
Jesus.
And they told him, what do you want? They asked this armed robber man, what do you want? He said he wanted power and protection. He wanted their protection. They asked him, can you pay the price? He said, any amount. They told him, we don't talk about money here. He said, anything. He was ready. You know the price they asked him to pay?
What price?
He must kill 1 human being once in 3 months. He must kill a human being once every 3 months. Okay? He agreed to do that. And they told him, no matter what, if you can do that, no matter what you do, you will be protected. So, think about it. They told him, it's not poison. The blood must drop. Blood. must drop to the ground. So wherever the blood drops in this entire nation, the blood has been taken by them. It's a blood sacrifice. And he continued to do that. So what happened for years? What happened doing? So he carried that assassination I'm talking about. He was employed by a politician to carry out this assassination of a rival. Now, what happened was, later they went for a robbery in Festac in Lagos. Because he had his voice. He was performing wonders. He would tell me that if they are operating, because they go with usually fast-moving car. So the car will be there, the driver will be inside, the car will be on, because they are ready to take off at any time. And he said, for him, if the car is moving, once he jumps down from the upstairs, if he touches any part of the body, he will go inside.
He will go inside.
He will be inside the car. So if he runs and touches, just his hand touches the car, he's inside. So, yeah, he was doing a lot of things. So his boys saw. And you know what? The painful thing is that once the time comes for that sacrifice, some of his boys were killed. Once it's the time for him to make that human sacrifice. Maybe they are robbing, and he say he will just turn and shoot one of the boys down. So to pay that homage. And then sometimes the boys now, because they see he's killing them, will gang up and plan that where they are going to kill him. He said when they just maybe stand behind him before they pull the gun, he said a power will propel him. He will just turn around and the person will fall down and begin to beg for his life. A native doctor was killed. How? He said his boys pleaded with him to help them. So he said they went somewhere in the West. I won't mention the town. They went somewhere in the West to consult this native doctor, 3 of them. So he took them to the forest. There was a rock where he shaved their head, give them 1,001 incisions on the head.
What's incisions?
Incision, cutting.
Okay.
With a razor blade.
1,001.
1,001 incision and rub something to make them either invisible or that when they are when they are shot, it will not penetrate. So this guy said, they've done the first guy. The second guy he said he went behind the native doctor to try him. And he just shot him, but the native doctor fell down and died.
Yeah.
So they laughed. And already they had, many years back, I'm talking about early 80s, they had paid, according to him, they had paid 60,000. The 3 of them paid 20,000 to do that. So when that happened, because he said, does this native doctor have power? That is giving us power. Let me try him. That bullet will not penetrate them. So bullet penetrated they all laughed. And in fact, the boy said, let us go and collect our money back from his house. He said, no, just let the family use that money to bury him. Now, there was one robbery they carried out. Festac. Festac is a gated estate. So, somebody prominent, I won't mention the position, somebody prominent, and then the wife, while the robbery was going on, they killed a man, retired government person. The wife still had the presence of mind to call the police at the gate, describe the car they are using, describe their. So while they were approaching the gate, so as they called the gate also radioed in Lagos, rapid, they came with a helicopter. So as the car was coming, they opened fire on them. They opened fire. So he said he sneaked out. He came out of the car, sneaked out with his pistol, went into the swamp, buried the pistol there, escaped. They gunned down 2 of them dead, captured 1. That one they captured made a total confession about this guy. Now, the guy said he was maintaining 3 hotels, simultaneously at the same time. Why? He was not living in a house. This hotel, he said, there's how the environment of a hotel will look like. He will feel threatened security-wise, that maybe plain clothed policemen. So he will check to the other hotel. And so they described his movement and all. They were looking for him. He left. At this time, I was when I was in Ife. So he said he came to Ife because Ife is a university town. He can masquerade as a student. That's what they do. Rent a house, be there in the night, go and carry out their activities and all that. But he said when he arrived to Ife, the night, he said he slept. This time he has run out of money. He slept in an uncompleted building. Came Saturday night. He said something was telling him. He had a sleepless night. Go to a church and confess. Go to a church and confess. So he said he just started moving in the morning. The first church he saw was our church. So he stopped. He waited at the door, and the door was open. He came in. And he told them plainly, he didn't hide it, that he was an armed robber, but he wanted to give his life to Christ. Everybody was afraid of him. Now, I was in a different branch of the church pastoring. So everybody was afraid of him. He had nowhere to go, so he remained in the church there. So on Wednesday, the senior pastor called me because, of course, they know my story, they know my background, so they think I am the one who could handle him. So we went to church together. I spoke with him, interviewed him, and I realized that he is sincere. He really wants a change. And we can't leave him in the church. Mosquito and all that. I told him I was taking him to my house. I told the senior pastor I want him to follow me to the house.
You took him home?
I took him home.
Wow.
I took him home to my house. He stayed. This thing happened in 1998. So he stayed with me. He was really eager to live that old life. So I started talking to him, and then one night he was sleeping in a flat, in the second flat, where some students and my boy were sleeping. So one night I just was moved to call him to join us for our night devotion so that he could grow. I didn't know God planned something. So that night, as we just started worshiping God, the power of God came upon me. He was kneeling down because very tall fellow. I just went to where he was kneeling down, lay hands on him. He was on the ground. And then became very violent. I jumped on him, called my boys to restrain him. The Holy Spirit was leading me. And then what happened? After one intensive hour, he got up. He said, Pastor, what happened to me? I said, I ministered deliverance to him. He said he can only remember yesterday. I said it's not yesterday, it's an hour ago. He fell down and held me. I said, hey, I'm now free. My brother, that was the night he told me about that covenant, about that initiation by that white garment prophet, because he was told never to speak, to reveal the secret. Now, if he reveals the secret, he will run mad. Now, all along, he said, if he was picked up and locked in the police cell, they gave him signs, they told him things to do. He said he would be in a particular position, repeat some things, they will begin to talk to him. He will make connection immediately and they begin to talk to him. Now, why am I relating this is, these are spiritual activities. Now, when you talk of African spirituality, now, life is spiritual.
Very spiritual.
Good. And people deal with the realm of the spirit on daily basis. I saw it as a child. I came to understand that as a child, observing my father, that for you to make progress in this life, you must need a spiritual backing. You must need a spiritual backing. And you see, the backing of, for instance, I just gave you example of an armed robber who was doing exploits, who was even being hired by politicians to carry out assassination. He had power behind him to help him do those things and succeed. Now, so a lot of things about life has to do, some of them are not big deals. Okay, you might be given something and say, put it under your pillow, a stone or something else, and you begin to have some experiences.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Any kind of stone?
No, it's not just any kind of. For instance, there are, okay, you see, why do the Ezemwani stay at this riverside or stream side? There are powers in the water. There are powers. Even the Bible says so. There are powers underneath the earth, powers above. So when you connect to these powers, they begin to, okay, the story I just told, went to the river, Bar Beach, made invocations, and 7 beings came out. Who are those 7 beings? They are not human beings.
Where did they even come from?
They are spirit beings. They are spiritual beings that can take some form and some shape sometimes. Now, from the story my father told me, okay, our village is owned by a power. I won't mention the name so that I will not be located easily. Now, you see, he said in those ancient days, that same power used to move out and visit some people in the village. The way they will know they visited is that they will see every footstep is marked by native chalks. You will see a lot of it. Yes. I remember growing up when we used to go to the stream, that same stream that represented that power. A lot of things, you see people coming to throw in, to make sacrifices. They bring goats, they bring white chicken, they leave it there. Sometimes you are going, a chicken follows you, and they say it is the goddess that favors you, that is giving it to you. You pay homage. There are some deeper things I can say, because now I give you an example. There was a lady from my place who was kidnapped, actually kidnapped, and taken to a bush, taken to a place. And he said, when they brought her, a woman came and began to flog them, and they say, who brought this girl here? Remove her here. Who was that woman that came? That woman is the goddess of that village, who has seen that her daughter, her child, has been taken away, who went to fight. Now, that's spirituality. Now, these are spiritual things. So when we speak about African spirituality, we are talking about what the Africans relied upon before the advent of Christianity. Before the advent of Christianity, these things are quite deep, because they form the foundation of the society, in our communities, so that every you have shrines, you have altars, you have this, then you have native doctors and all that. The reason is because man cannot do without the spiritual realm. He can't, of different kinds. So I mean, whether you are in business, whether you are in politics, whether I know a woman who had a school, private school. he will go and sprinkle water. I don't know where he brought the water. He does not fail to do that to protect our school. I even know a lawyer who will come with and sprinkle water in his office. Lawyers. So life is spiritual.
Very, very spiritual.
Life is spiritual. And if you do not have that spiritual connection, you will be repressed.
I heard of a real estate entrepreneur here in Abuja.
Okay.
Oh, that's what I heard though. That he's a very spiritual person, but you won't know.
Yes.
That once you come to his office and he tells that these are the lands he has available, you must buy.
Yes.
That you never find peace until you go and borrow money, even sell your property until you buy.
Yes.
It's only after you've bought it, you now say, what have I gotten myself into?
Yes.
You now start thinking of a way to either sell it or maybe just accept your fate.
Yeah.
So spirituality is real, and that's why
real.
we are going to continue with a part 2. Okay. For now, we have to go on a break.
Thank you.
So we'll have to go on a break. I wish there was a commercial break to go on.
Yeah.
So let's Papa to take a rest.
Thank you.
Get water. We'll continue. This episode is going to be long. It's going to be like 2 hours plus. So for now, let us just get him to rest a bit. We'll charge our batteries because we'll be using these batteries to film other episodes as well. So thank you very much, and see you guys in a few seconds.
Thank you.
Okay, please help him with water.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in learning content creation, you can go to luckyuduacademy.com and you'll be able to access some of my courses. I've prepared a course that is going to help you to do well in content creation. I have a course on editing. I have a course on how to produce social media videos, how to protect your social media accounts, and finally, how to go viral on social media. You can also find some other interesting courses on luckyuduacademy.com. Now, let's go back to our conversation. Sir, what are some of the other things that your daddy did that you would like to tell us about?
Okay, quite a lot, because you see, he was deep into some spiritual powers, for good, not for evil, because my father never did anything evil against people. Now, he will only seek for your protection, for your help, for your assistance. So all kinds of, I mentioned it the other time, if you break your bones, we mend bones. We do all kinds of holistic work for man. But then there are also areas of protection. Okay? That's something my father used to do. He used to do some work for protection for people. Having gathered some leaves and roots and all that, and then grounded to powder after burning, and that's how you will do it. Everything will disappear into your body through your palm.
Are you serious?
Yes, and you'll be saying some things. And he said, okay, if it happens in the front, you'll be at the back. If it's at the back, you'll be in front. And so on and so forth. That to give you protection from accidents and other things.
So the way you are saying it so casually, that he's going to get some herbs.
Yes.
He will pound it.
Not pound it.
He will
put
dry
it in a pot, and they burn it until everything burn to ashes.
Ashes, then they'll pound it.
Then they will grind it, blend it, and then into powder.
Then he'll put it on your hand.
On the palm of your hand, and will be making some
incantations.
And
before you know it will disappear into your hand.
Disappears into your body. And that to give you protection from accidents and some other things.
So do you know, as you are saying this thing now, there are some people that will be saying, I don't believe in all these things, or the only thing they know is God, the only thing they know is this. But the truth is, African spirituality is real.
Okay.
And it solved problems many, many years ago before now.
Now, let me tell you this. Maybe you don't know. My father died 50 years ago. The land that he left behind, because it was a problem, the land, he knew what was going to happen. They will be dispossessed of it. He did something to secure it, to protect it. Now, you see, I gave a portion of land to a church. And later, one elder died from the church, and the pastor died. The pastor was in his 40s. He died in an accident. But I later realized that those two persons died because of that land. How? Now, I had a dream one time. I now had a dream. I was on that land trying to cultivate in that dream. And as I was cultivating, these soldier ants were just milling out of the place. And suddenly, a python rose from the ground to attack me. And in that dream, I realized that that python had killed two persons on that land. I attacked that python. The python turned to somebody I know, and then I killed it. Now, why did I know? How did I know? That person that I know happened to be someone possessed by the spirit of that land. So, like I said, life is spiritual. Now, there are so many people you see on the road, mad. Their problem oftentimes is spiritual, oftentimes it's not a medical thing. It's a question of possession. What do I mean by that? You see, these spirits oftentimes want to engage man. But there are principles that you must follow. If you don't follow those principles, it will lead to insanity, because you are not able to relate with these spiritual forces, these spiritual powers. I give you this person I'm talking about. We were classmates in secondary school. Later, he got a job, and then, when I became a Christian, a pastor, I used to visit him in the bank where he was working. And I went to school, went to university. One day I visited, I met him on the streets of the city. We were talking. Then from the way we were talking, all of a sudden he switched over. I knew what was talking in him, because he was making comparison. He said, what I wanted to do for our people, that I wanted to make them this, make them that. I realized that it was the goddess of the village where I came from that was speaking through him, and was the cause of his roaming about as a mental case. Because there was no proper person with understanding who could channel it. Those powers could have come to promote him, to make him, but because there was no, somebody was not there to show him the way to connect to those powers to be made, he turns to insanity, sort of, in his life. There's a case of a woman when my father was alive. This woman came to my father and said, her experience in the night, they will come to oppress her, beat her, and all that. My father looked at her and said, well, you don't understand that you are a wife to a goddess. That you don't need to. And my father advised her, remove any dark thing, any dark black object. Make your bed with white clothes, all through white. And she did. Next time she came back to say, Baba, they just came home and they were talking with me and showing me things and so on and so forth. Now, I'm not tired of saying it, that the world is spiritual. Now, this spirituality is something somebody cannot tell you about.
Sorry, you just made me shocked. You know, I was advised to stop putting on black.
Okay.
That I've been seeing, although that was a few years ago. Okay. I've been seeing it in the comment section.
Okay.
Because I love black so much.
Okay.
People were like, Lucky, can you just stop wearing black? Okay. And apart from that, I've had multiple people send me emails.
Yeah.
And I've had multiple people that I've seen in person that have advised me to stop putting on black clothes, to stop buying black clothes, and to even get rid of black clothes.
Okay.
But me, I'm very much attracted to black. I don't know why. So
Okay.
I don't know what the significance of black is, and then white as well.
Well, you see, when you look at these people they call Ezewine. You see two colors with them, white and red. White and red. Why? I don't know, but these marine powers are in love with these two colors, white and red. And so, I mean, there are others also. So their worshippers, those who belong to them, also love to don these colors, especially white. You see them, they always dress in white. You know that oftentimes they belong to this marine cult where their powers come from. They may be big men in the office, big men in business and so on, but they're always on white. So that will be. But I've not known any cult that adorn black.
Me, I love black. Who?
Okay, I don't
I
know any
also
cult. Black oftentimes represents negativity
now
in
there's
the spirit realm.
now then sabi, but me,
Okay.
I love black so much.
Okay.
I feel I love black.
Yeah, sometimes these colors don't mean
They
anything
don't
to
mean
the
I don't
ordinary
mean
man, but sometimes they are adopted in the spirit realm for some purposes.
anytime I wear black, I feel even more energetic. So there's something I heard that some very successful entrepreneurs in Nigeria are married to wives that have marine spirits. That's what I heard though. That some of the most successful entrepreneurs we know that their wives are connected to water powers, and that is how they are able to survive, attain great heights in business and entrepreneurship, and they have remained protected.
Now,
I don't. That's what I
you
heard
see,
though. I don't know if it's a rumor.
nobody will tell you his secret. But I was in office of a very big hotelier. I was in his office for some reason, and we were talking. I'm a spiritual person by the grace of God. I've developed spirituality in Christ Jesus. So when you're talking, I know where you're coming from. So we're talking very, very wealthy man. And of course, he didn't know me. I went there as a lawyer, not as a pastor. So we talked and talked, but I knew that my presence there left some. Because the Bible says we carry aroma, left something because we had another appointment. The next time I came, the entire office was smelling of incense, possibly to sanitize the place. I laughed. I knew he was a spiritual person. Now, what you're saying is the truth. Nobody of substance. Life is not like that. They won't tell you their connections. Some of them have things in the room. They worship. They have altars. Some of them are religious altars that they worship. Religious in the name of, Now, these men must be made by higher powers.
And sir, you said that your own father married a powerful.
No, one of his wives was a spiritual person, a marine person. Can I tell you an interesting story?
Tell me, sir.
Okay, my eldest brother was not the talking type. He would not talk. He will go to talk, ask him something. Before he will give you a reply, it will take a long time. He doesn't know how to talk. Now, the legend or the story behind it is this. That other woman, my father's wife, who was spiritual, because my father was spiritual, she was spiritual. So one day they had a quarrel. And my father now called her and said, look, why is it that before I talk one, you will talk two? When you come to life next time, you will not be able to talk. And they said the woman retorted and said, you will see me in your house. So that is the woman that, reincarnated So became the reincarnation of the eldest son, and that's why he's not talking, because of what the husband said. Now, I don't believe in reincarnation anyway, but there are spiritual things. I will call them, the Bible call them familiar spirits. Spirits can be released, can be transmitted through occult means and occult practices and devious ways. Now, but that's actually what happened. Now, talking about spirituality, like the thing, my father died 50 years ago. The things he did are still potent.
Till today.
I've had to contend with a lot of them because he had so many things. Now, listen to this. Before he died, he told us. Anyway, I wasn't there because I was much younger when he died. I went to school, but he told my elder brothers, "Say, look, these things you can't manage them. You can't handle them. So there are charms everywhere. Okay." He said, dig ground, dig a big hole, pack everything into it, pour oil. It is said that when you give them oil, you just reduce their strength. Pour oil on them and cover it. That's what they did, but life was not easy for anybody from my father's home. When I got born again, it's not even enough. That is why I tell people, when I counsel people, your pastor who is still struggling cannot help you because he doesn't understand your struggle. If he had not had victory, there's no way he can make you have victory. I struggled. I fought with these things, these powers that seem to have been buried.
You say, is it palm oil that palm oil reduces their strength?
Yes. Yeah, that is what he said. In my local parlance, but then it does not. But these things are spiritual.
And I've heard somebody once say something about there's somebody I once interviewed.
Yes.
So we were discussing one time, and then he was telling me that I should reduce my intake of palm oil.
That could be for medical reasons.
No, not medical reason. He's a spiritual person.
Okay.
He's very popular on Instagram. His name is Spiritual Counselor.
Okay, even if he can be spiritual, know also that oil could have some negative effect on your life.
No, what he's saying is that I should reduce taking palm oil in food.
I agree. You see, I loved palm oil. But at a point, there was a time I ate raw palm oil with plantain, and I felt very, very, very uncomfortable health-wise. So it's not, for me, it's not anything spiritual. It's just that maybe I don't know how it reacted in my body, but growing up, palm oil was, we were in the village, and palm oil
was something a lot of people eat.
Yes, we enjoyed it with yam.
Roasted
yam. And then, so on and so forth. It was a delicacy, sort of.
Yeah,
so I don't think it's spiritually negative.
Sir, I think that maybe for certain purpose it might have spiritual positivity.
Okay.
And I don't really know any of those things. That's why we need to speak to more people to talk about African spirituality.
Okay.
So if you are somebody who has very good knowledge about it, please reach out to the number you are seeing on the screen. Sir, you said your father married somebody who had spiritual marine power.
Yes.
Can you tell us some of the things you experienced about her powers?
Well, I didn't know her. All I had was because one of the elder wives of my father, even her own child, who is 10 years older than me, didn't know her. So the story I had was what I had from my father. So I didn't meet her. So, but he was a spiritual person. He could whatever problem you have, he goes to the bush, get some herbs, give you.
I'm talking about your father's wife.
Yes, my father's wife. My
Okay.
father married 11
Okay, because you said
11
he.
times.
That's why I think
Okay,
that's a
no,
mistake.
okay, yeah. She will go to get the herbs. Now, when we talk about spirituality, listen, you are in touch with certain powers. I've said it before. They could reach you. Some, okay, they call it clairvoyance, or you see things that people don't see. You hear things that people don't hear. So they can be talking to you while you are awake, telling you things that others don't hear. Then they can talk to you in your dream. While you are sleeping, you have dreams that are very, very vivid. Somebody come to you, and then you went to the bush, get a certain material and give him. And a day later, somebody appears with it, you remember your dream, and so on and so forth. Now, let me tell you a story about a guy I ministered to. The guy was in the secondary school, and he said to me that a woman in his sleep, sometimes these things, it's not real sleep, but because it's a spiritual experience. This woman will come to and introduce herself as the mother of this young man, secondary school. And then it was his life turned overnight. He became popular in school. He became popular in secondary school. Then everybody, so result come, he will make a good result. But he said, after exams, his mother will come, the spiritual mother will come. They will take a walk, and he say, okay, they will get to a tree under the shade, and said, okay, there's a rock there, carry the rock, and when he move the rock, he will see paper under. He will bring. He said, that's your result. The result that has not been released, he's already known the result he's going to make. It was shown from the spiritual realm. So that continued until he had the gospel, believed, gave his life. Instead of that power helping him now, that power turned around to fight him. That's where the point where he came for deliverance. Now, there was a case of a young boy, primary school boy at that time, 12 years old. In fact, at that time, he was mate to my own child. I went under the full gospel fellowship to minister. And this woman brought her child and said, I should pray for this child, that the child complains of eyesight, this, that. As I lay hands to pray for this child, I noticed a manifestation. And I knew that this is not physical or medical, this is spiritual. So I took him aside, because he's a 12-year-old child. I ministered deliverance to him. I knew he was liberated. And I told the mother, I want them to come back 2 days later, because I want to assess what happened, because being a child. So when they came back, the mother was surprised. He said, when they got home and the guy opened his mouth to begin to say what he has been experiencing, he said there were three spirits that were talking to him, were telling him things constantly, what to do, what not to do, and so on and so on. He said, when he makes up his mind to tell his mommy what is going, mommy, when he reach mom, he will blanked out. He won't know what to say. Yes, why? He said, mommy, don't worry. Until after that deliverance, that was when he was able to tell the mother, these spirits were living inside him and controlling him. So human beings were not meant to live ordinary life. In terms of the fact that they were created by a superior being and they were to be connected to this. But another power intervened. Therefore, for you to make progress on earth, you need the help of higher powers. That's what they do. That's what politicians, they won't tell you. They make sacrifices. Now, look at this common phenomenon today, Yahoo boys. Internet has made these things, accessible. You hear stories. Last week I was watching a young boy, 16 years old. Come and see the house he built. He's still in secondary school. Bought a Mercedes-Benz. 16, he was being interviewed. I watched the interview. I said, 16 years. A 16-year-old person cannot drive a car because he can't be given license until he's 18 years. Mercedes-Benz, GLK, has a house. The father refused to live in the house. So, what are you? They ask him. He says he's doing a trade. Is it
Forex trading?
Forex trading.
That's what they always say.
Okay, forex trading. That's where you see, at 16 you got billions or hundreds of millions to build a fantastic house. You are still in secondary school. Now, if you go into detail, you see, okay, where do they go? They meet a native doctor, okay, who says they are going to either bring your mother or father. Like one I was watching where the guy came out of prison. A few months later, he has built a big house and said, Daddy, we are suffering, come. And they brought somebody who is a prophet to pray. And they told him, don't enter this house. The father, if you enter, you will die after a few days. He has used you for money ritual. So money ritual confirms this spirituality we're talking about. It goes on every day.
So money ritual is true.
No, it's true. It's true. It's about spiritual things that go on in the realm of the spirit. Okay.
Now I'm curious about something.
Okay.
Spirituality, does it work for everyone? It's possible there are some people who might attempt to do some spiritual sacrifices and they might not see significant results, but then somebody else might do that same thing and they will see tremendous results.
Okay, fine. Look at it this way. Look at it. Let me take myself as an example. Why didn't I follow my father's footsteps? Now, they must have seen that I can't follow. That I was going to serve God in my lifetime. Therefore, they did not initiate me into those things. So like you said, yes, there are those you want to do, but it's not going to work for you.
So what it means is that everybody has a source.
Yeah.
So if you come with sacrifice to come and give to someone, maybe you carry it to a river or you carry it to something else, they can decide to accept it or not accept it.
Yes.
Until you find your own source that will accept your own sacrifice. Okay. Just like in the Bible, Cain and Abel went to sacrifice before God, and God accepted the sacrifice of Abel. I'm just thinking. My head is just thinking different.
Going into area of theology now, which is
no, it's not even theology. Don't mind me. My head is roaming.
Okay.
So I'm just thinking, like maybe if you are not a child of so. See, I feel like in this world, most of us don't know our ancestry.
Now.
So if you understand your ancestry, you know where to go, who to meet, what to appease, how to appease, when to appease, and all these things.
Now, I have a contemporary, we're of the same age. His father and my father were doing the same thing. Today, I was like I was to my father, the youngest. He was also one of the youngest, not the youngest, but was close to his father. He's the one doing those things now. Inherited it doing those things. I mean, going to the river with people to go, and I still meet him. I taunt him. I said, this river has not helped you. Come, Jesus will help you. Now, to move further to throw more light. As a lawyer, I do cases, land cases. You know, there's a land case I am doing. This case started generations ago. My present client, his father did the same case. His grandfather. He started with his grandfather over the same land or the same matter. After the grandfather died, the father took over. The father died. It's now his turn. Now, and when I went into this case, because I handle cases spiritually too, I pray. So, in the night I had a dream. What was the dream? I was in a forest full of lions. And they couldn't attack me anyway. And I was not afraid. But the danger was there. I woke up, began to pray. That's when I understood, and understanding came to me. That land was spiritually locked up by those who are claiming it, though it's not their own. So that when you put your hand into it, something wrong. That's why it's interminable. There's no end to the case, because something was done years back, possibly buried on the land, did a lot of things. To do what? To take over that land. So that's why, some cases
Almost spirituality, So the fact that you're able to even dream and remember it and still pray, and then you have understanding, it's very, very beautiful, honestly.
That's also a form of spirituality.
So why do some people dream? So why is it that some people dream and some people don't dream?
Okay, fine. Dream also has to do with spirituality. And the spirituality, when I mean spirituality, I want us to understand something. There are two sides. Satan's side, the black side, I don't know how to, and then God's own side. Before I became a Christian, what I used to have were nightmares. The moment I gave my life to Christ, my dreams became clean and clear. I dreamed a lot. Listen, anything I don't see in my dream, there's no problem. If they are going to be, you see, my background with my father, native doctor, that's spirituality. Now, in Christianity, I developed spirituality knowing that life is spiritual. Now, what I don't see coming is not a problem. There is nothing that is going to happen that is negative that I don't see. So that is, I can give you examples. Many. So that if I wake up in a day and there is I slept normal, nothing, it's okay. But if there's going to be anything wrong, contrary, I will see it in my dream. And I will know what steps to take, either to not do something or to tackle it in prayer, possibly with fasting. Okay? So there are a lot of things. I've enjoyed this life with God. That's because that's what He promised in His word. So when we talk, it's not just spirituality the other way. Now, Christianity gives you the greater type of spirituality. That's why Jesus said, all power, I give unto you power over all the power of the enemy. So there is an enemy who has powers, but there's a superior power. Now, if I may say, look, because I had to struggle with the powers that my father served, contended with them. I told you things were buried, but their potency remained. Okay? People experience setbacks in life without knowing why. Oftentimes this is spiritual. Setback. Whether education or whether, when I was in law school, there was a young man who was repeating, I think for the third time, repeating law school exam for the third time. And we happened to be in the same, came to in the same hostel. Now I began to share his experiences. And I told him what was happening to him. He said, if he will have a dream, in his dream, he'll be going around looking for his seat and will never find it, and will wake up, he will fail that exam. It's spiritual. Something is going on. Okay? So, if you develop your life as a Christian, you can become spiritual. That, what do I mean by? I have again and again tried to explain it. It is the ability to connect to the spirit realm. Ability to connect to the spirit realm, where you get information, where you get direction, where you get instruction, and so on and so forth. So something is going to go wrong. You are shown, this is not okay, don't do it. Okay? So, in my case, I struggle with the negative works that my father did. Now, I did a lot of fasting and prayer because I wanted to move forward. It appears something is pulling me backwards. One day, I had a dream. Part of the things that were buried, part of the things, the iron works and the rest of the things, in my area, even when people praise God, there's a language they use, Otutu etijigwe. That's the iron that breaks every other iron. A popular song, Iron Breaker, and all that. Now, there is that iron in blacksmithing work, because my father was into all manner of cords. Blacksmithing was one of them. So that iron was there. They were part of all what was buried. But many years down the line, I was praying because I didn't know what was hindering my life. And I dreamt, I saw that iron, that heavy iron in my dream. I tried to carry it, I tried to move it, I couldn't move it. I woke up. I knew that it meant something. So, I intensified my prayers and fasting. At another time, I dreamt again, saw the same iron. This time, I tried to move it, it couldn't move. Suddenly, the power of God fell upon me, and I picked it like a piece of paper. I raised it up, and it shattered into, it shattered, and then I knew I had a breakthrough. So there are a lot of things people struggle with that is just, okay, I'll give you another one, okay? To go to the university was not a simple thing. As of intelligence, from the moment I became I never in my life wrote any exam 2 times. No exam I ever wrote 2 times. So, but going to the university was not easy. Even when I got the admission, it was like something would drive me out. I went into fasting and prayers. 7 days of total fast. Because that you're talking about spirituality. If you're going to develop spirituality, you will fast. Even those on the other side also fast. Fasting is a very powerful tool of building spirituality.
Like how many days fast?
No, it all depends. It all depends. For me, I did all manner of fasting from the moment I got born again, the moment I gave my life to Christ. I don't know. Nobody taught me. I saw the need to fast. What encouraged me is that after I have fasted, even if it's 3 days, I will have a dream. See, it's like I'm watching a film of what happened during the fast. And I was enjoying the victory. So I learned to fast 7 days, 14 days.
You will not eat
21.
anything?
No, I will eat now in the evening, maybe 6 to 6.
Okay.
Okay.
So when you are fasting, what are some things you should do and shouldn't do?
Okay.
What are the keys to effective fasting?
Okay, fine. When you are fasting as a believer, you must present yourself normal, not to let every I'm fasting today. No, your fasting
Must keep
be,
it secret.
Yes. And then you, as much as possible, pray. Take time to pray, because some people, they say they will fasting and they will do all manner. Now, to show you fasting is spiritual, I will give this is simple illustration when and people always confirm it. Normally, you can be busy from morning till 3 in the afternoon. You have not taken your breakfast and you don't feel terribly hungry.
You even think about it.
Okay, but decide that you are fasting. Tomorrow you will fast. Now, by 4 a.m.,
7 a.m.
you will go to toilet. You go to toilet. You come back. By 11 a.m., your body is shaking. And then the next thing is, maybe I should not fast today. I should. Because
even by 8, you start feeling hungry.
Okay. Because fasting is spiritual. You are connecting to something. You are hitting something, and there will be opposition. You want to move out of something that has caged you, and they don't want you to move out. So circumstances are created to discourage you from that fast. So fasting is powerful. If you can break through on your own, breakthrough, resist whatever will stop you, you will move ahead.
So the keys to effective fasting is keep it secret.
Secret.
Pray.
You must pray.
Mm-hmm.
And
avoid the temptation to eat.
Yes. And next thing, look for a good book that will help you, either on prayer or on a good spiritual book that will keep you busy, that will teach you also. And then it will help you.
Sir, I've noticed something. Why is that whenever I'm praying, I'll start yawning?
Okay.
Or whenever I want to say, maybe they say in Jesus' name, I want to say amen. I'll start yawning.
Okay, fine. That's a battle. That's a spirit. That is, the flesh is far stronger than the spirit, than your spirit.
That happens to me a lot in church.
Okay.
We can just be praying. They say in Jesus' name, I want to say amen. I'll just yawn. It will come out from nowhere.
Okay.
And it happens over and over and over again.
Okay.
Another question I want to ask too. Do you know this thing called sleeping paralysis?
No.
Sleep paralysis.
No, I don't
when
know.
you sleep,
okay.
You want to move your body,
you can't move.
But if you try to move your finger, you just wake up and you shout Jesus.
Okay.
What's the misery behind it?
Okay. Some of them are attacks. You are oppressed. But there's a simple explanation I can give. That is, if you sleep and you have your windows open, cross ventilation, there's a kind of breeze that will come upon you that can cause that effect. If you close your window, you may not feel it. But there's the other type that is a spiritual attack. You are oppressed. And the reason that can happen to you is because, let me use say your battery is low. Let me use that term. Your battery is low. It cannot ward off this attack. But when your spiritual battery is strong, you cannot face that attack.
I've been having this since when I was a child.
Okay, there could be also, I give you an example. You see, because, if you are a Christian, the Bible talks about our inheritance in Christ. One of those inheritances is spiritual safety and security. When it is breached, and you suffer, is for you to find out what happened. I give you an illustration. Somebody met me one time, a woman I know very well, spiritual, and said he had the same experience you are talking about in the night. He was oppressed. I said, something happened. What went wrong? Tell me. Before you slept, what happened? He now told me she had a quarrel with the husband. So she locked the husband. The husband has his room. She has her room. But sometimes the husband come to sleep with her in her room. So she said she locked her husband outside, out of her room. And then that night she was oppressed. Usually you have done something that will cause that oppression. Now let me
I don't believe that.
no, okay, let me give you an illustration. I lived in a place where there were two witches known to me. The landlord's daughter, first daughter, and a co-tenant's wife. They were witches, I knew. And like I said, I was doing a lot of fasting. When you fast, you connect to spiritual powers. And sometimes you carry that force. Now, there are those who wouldn't, when they, I don't know what happens to them, but when they see you, they feel like somebody stabbed with an arrow. And they don't like it. So that's how I know them. You know, when I fast and I come, this kind of shock this person feels. What's going on? So, what will they do? They want to puncture your protection. How would they do that? They want to do something that will lift that protection from you. I understood it quite early that, either they provoke you or one thing or the other. So, the Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood. It's not a physical fight. So, I was young in marriage then. I instructed my wife. I said, look, give him how to live. Don't fall into this trap. I saw the trap. I knew it. One day, myself and my wife went out. We have not had a baby then. And then the woman, the co-tenant's wife, who had a 10-year-old boy living with us, my nephew. We're just coming. The distance between us is maybe from here to that wall. Coming, myself and my wife. I don't know what happened. The woman began to give him slap with both hands, two here, two here. Just, you know what he was doing? I was the target. You know what they're saying in my village, the parlance. If you are looking for a mother goat, go and catch the little baby. What's it called? Billy goat or what? The mother will come out, no matter where it is. Once you hear, bah, bah, it is going to come out from wherever it is. It's a spiritual thing. So, in an instant, I saw the trap that I was the target. It was so provocative, something that I cannot, a trap that I cannot escape. But God opened my eyes that instant to see the trap. I just hold my wife. I said, don't say something. Don't, just keep quiet. So I made them, my boy was struggling with him. What did I do to you? I just passed them. As soon as I enter my house, I turned around and I called my boy. I said, come inside. It was another neighbor that took quarrel with that woman and said, what did that small boy do you that you slap him in such a way? It was intentionally done. All I needed to say was, madam, what did he do to you? And he would put his hand on my dress and he was looking to create a scandal. And the next thing you hear, they say, pastor fight with somebody. So I saw the trap. I saw the snare. You know what he was trying to do? I know and that is not the main attack. When that happens, I would have been so angry to be unable to pray in that day or that night, and the real attack will be launched spiritually. and then you are gone. So that's this is Christian spirituality I'm talking about now.
Spirituality is,
Uh-huh.
is real.
Okay, so that's it.
So you were talking about stones, leaves.
Okay, fine. Now what I mean is this. For this,
Earlier.
yeah, for the stone, for instance. Now, growing up in the village, it's common for somebody to shade something on outside and it's not there. But there is a stone.
The person will live on top.
On top of what he is selling. Now, that stone came from the stream, the God that this person has believed in, and he has put it there to protect his wares. If you think it's nothing, and when you take it without paying, is a God that will ask you. Now this, okay, in the past, okay, people used to, when you are traveling, they put native chalk in your box. The native chalk is taken from a shrine. All they are doing is that native chalk, that goddess or God, from where that native chalk is taken, will protect and preserve you. That's okay.
So stones are not ordinary at all.
No, they are not all stones.
They are connected to sources.
Good. You see, from where, from the, okay, let me quote the Bible here. You see, if you bring, okay, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon went to Israel, conquered, defeated them, carried away every vessel in the temple and so on. One day he was so happy, and they brought those vessels, these cups, and to drink with. They were partying. The finger of God came to judge. You know why? Because those things were dedicated to God. They belong to God, in spite of the fact that God allowed them to be carried away. Now, I've said before, human beings are owned. You must have to understand this. Human beings are owned. And there are those who are nominal in their relationship with the powers. There are those who are active, who knows that I belong here and this power guides me and protects me. And then that's why somebody can go to that shrine or stream and bring that stone and put it there because he believes in it. And they are efficacious. Something that is common now, like say, because I've seen some things, as a lawyer, as a case, there's a land. And this man said, well, me I know they go court to. Now Juju I know. If you want to take my land, I'll put Juju for you. And people are scared. People are scared. Okay, what is it? What is the Juju that he brought? Maybe that is. They don't go to court. Alosi. I will bring, And people respect that alosi, fear that alosi more than any other thing. Sometimes you see the alosi doing devastation. I had a case, this person I know very well, I won't, and he's dead. While he's still in the mortuary, another brother died. What happened? He said, okay, they sold land to somebody and 3 plots. Instead of delivering, they delivered 2 plots. And then the person brought the alosi against them. It's the alosi that is killing them. That's the story. You see, because the truth is this. That's why you need to be a Christian. Give your life to Christ and you have no business with any alosi. But to say that the alosi does not work is a lie. It's not true. But if you are a Christian, you have no business with alosi, and alosi has no business with you. Alosi is part of the African spirituality. Alosi works, is potent to those who are under their jurisdiction. But for those who have, that's why I went to destroy an Ezewanyi's shrine, because I have the power to do it. And they couldn't do anything. But an ordinary person may not even be able to enter there. Okay, the power will repel you. So there are powers and there are powers. Okay, there are powers and there are powers. No, so you can develop spirituality.
So you talked about leg chain, you talked about waist bead,
Okay.
symbols and
Okay, fine. Okay. Now, waist beads have diverse functions. Okay. Women use it for different purposes, but they are often spiritual. There was a case recently that I saw on the internet. What happened? A man left his wife and children and followed the wife's niece or cousin, and for months abandoned his family for months before they took, after the woman had suffered with his children, contacted a pastor who went there with him, and then the man was saying, this is my love, and all that. And the pastor told them, this woman has a bead in her waist with which he controls this man. And he prayed. The woman came under power, and then that bead was cut. I mean, the moment the bead was cut, the man came to himself and was saying, what am I doing here? Why am I here? This is. Huh? He called his wife, my wife, you are here. That's the wife he's been repelling, driving away. A bead, the waist bead, was used for something. Now, well, I don't doubt that some might wear it for decoration, but I tell you that oftentimes they are used for spiritual means.
Mona, to begin cut waist bead then. What about leg chain?
Leg chain, the same thing. You see, life, I say human beings are owned. Oftentimes, it's not fashion. No. Some people will say it's fashion. No, it's not fashion. Most people who wear leg chain are from the marine spirits. Either they are troubled by it, or they are devotees to marine spirits. So sometimes you are having certain problem, you make consultations. Okay, you are instructed to beads. Okay, they use this thing to do something, and you wear in your leg as protection from certain powers or control. So they are used for different purposes. But it's not. I can guarantee you, can assure that it's not fashion. It's not just fashion. They are spiritual. Yeah.
Wow, African spirituality it's real after all. I mean, although most of the things you said in the other episode we had, how your dad planted trees around
around the house.
The house.
Yes. Those trees form a spiritual fence. Spiritual fence, that is, if you are a thief, the moment you cross the fence, you will forget why you were there. Okay, that reminds me of a case also I watched recently. You see, I have interest in these power episodes because of my background and because of the fact that I love power and want to demonstrate power. So power episodes, I am attracted to them. Okay, there was this lady that decided to deal with an Ezenwani. He went and hefty police officers, men in uniform, and a woman, because he wanted them to teach her a lesson. She came from abroad. When they got there to Ezenwani place, okay, you came to arrest me. Okay, wait, excuse me, I'm coming. She just went inside. She knew what he did. Carried a bunch of broomsticks, and just threw them. And each of the officers began to pick broom and began to sweep her compound. And they wouldn't stop until one of the men that came with them began to plead and beg her to release them. They began to sweep her compound,
So these things are real, oh.
Until when the girl that brought them was disappointed, was saying, "What are you doing?" In fact, they turned against her until the Ezenwani now released them, and then they quickly went out of that place. What would you do?
Somebody can go meet a native doctor or a spiritual person for help. The native doctor can even just do something. You pass out.
Yes.
They'll do what they have done, finish. And then you wake up and you will not have any memory of you passing out or you waking up.
Yeah.
Spirituality, for somebody to have the ability to even hypnotize you, that you start sweeping the floor. Do you understand?
Because,
so I'm just thinking how far people can go to do all that.
They are not going. Listen to me. The spiritual realm is real. Oftentimes, people go seeking. But oftentimes, the connection comes from these spirits themselves, because they see that this person has what it takes, either the propensity for them to operate. So it's not everybody. So they now release their force, and let's say they are elected to work, to operate, and you begin to have your own experiences.
So African spirituality is real.
Quite real.
There is one I saw a video on TikTok. The man was holding something. The next he began to speak to it. The thing started. It was standing up by itself. Like, how do people even? Sometimes you be thinking that the people who should hold this kind of power are people that are so smart, intelligent, people that are young, and you know.
See, the power. Listen to me. The power is not your own. You are merely an agent, and you cannot use it the way you want to use it. You will be confined within the interest of the powers that gave it to you. Now, I read something by British parliamentarian many centuries back. He said, when you see a strong man, ask him these questions. When you see a powerful man, ask him this question. Number one, what power do you have? Number two, from where did you get that power? Number three, in whose interest do you use this power? Number four, how can you be dispossessed of this power? Very, very interesting. Now, what power do you have? What power does the native doctor have? What power does the guy then the next question is, where do you get the power from? You understand that? Mm-hmm. Now, how can you be on whose interest do you use that power?
Powerful.
Then number four, how can you be dispossessed of that power? And I saw an answer from the Bible, or an illustration from the Bible. That was Samson. Samson was so powerful that he was devastating the enemy Philistines. And they were seeking for how did he get his power? How do we make him weak? They tried many things until they found a woman, Delilah, who could seduce him. And he gave them what? What did he give? The secret
Of his power.
of his power. He said, no razor had touched my head. If you remove my hair, the locks of my hair will become powerless. Now, when you see illustrations, maybe children's Sunday school and all that, you see they draw Samson. No, Samson was an average, normal human being. The power came from the spirit that comes upon him, and that spirit can do anything. And that was the power of God. Now, what happens is that the devil operates a parallel because he made a photocopy of everything God was doing and was repeating it. The devil knows man needs certain things and is ready to give them. So there's nothing that God does that the devil does not have a counterpart. So that's what happens. So, but when you switch over to God, the power of God, the spirituality of God is much, much stronger and higher. Okay, much, much stronger. You get revelations, you get, and nothing. You are secured, you are protected.
May God help us. I mean,
I
there's a lot.
will encourage people to make a switch, like I made a switch, and for over 4 decades now, I've enjoyed that power. I've enjoyed victory through Christ Jesus. I've been attacked in diverse ways, but look, you won't believe it. Listen. If you are any part of this world and they want to bring you back, that's what they do in my place. They said, they won't go and roast yam for you in your name. And anywhere you are, because they say Nepalans that person when they roast yam, not they go far. So let's assume that for 10 years they've not heard about this person. And then they meet a strong native doctor. It will make investigation, because if he's in the prison, for instance, a prison outside the country, he might tell you. But if he's on his own and for one reason or the other is not, he said, you go and roast yam for him. And in a matter of days, that person will not know what made him to come back. At the same time, too, if they want to kill you, anywhere you are, you can be killed. There was an attempt like that to kill me. Sometimes there's a place in my villages, where you want to kill this. They just do the thing, and the next thing you hear, this person is dead.
What do they do?
They do their spiritual things now.
Do you know it?
No, I don't know it. But they attempted that on me. Listen, the Holy Spirit brought me there. And in that dream, everything was set like a set of guns, set like that. And they commanded I was to be finished. But the power of God came upon me, and as the guns were being released, that was how I was. And how did I know? I understood that. Why did they want to kill me? Over land. The same land we're talking about. The same land that caused my ordeal and all that. So, and how did I know? Because the Holy Spirit will reveal everything to me. I knew the native doctor. I knew what happened. I knew those who went there to consult him. But they were not able. But that's the same thing can happen for somebody who is unprotected. You can be killed anywhere. So, and all that. Okay.
Spirituality.
Yes.
This is something I've taken for granted all my life.
Let me mention this case. That's only one case I found out that my father had no answer for. It happened. I was in the 60s. I was still young, very small. This man in the 60s, he had this motorcycle, Triumph. He was living in the north. He visited home. And while he was going back, he slipped and fell and broke this place. Here. Now, this is the best place to mend when you are a bone setter. Very, very easy to mend here. But as my father was walking, because they brought it to the place was getting rotten. Then when you enter there, everywhere will be smelling. Everything my father did until what happened? A mama don't donate him to witch coven. The mama donate the son who was doing well to the witch coven. And so my father, after some point, when he knew what was happening, he invited them to come and carry him. So the day they came to, the moment they carried him from my father's house, putting him in the vehicle, he gave up. Not long after, the mother confessed that he killed her. And because he was doing well, to have triumph in the 60s, he was in the north. Now,
So
he had to be driven out of town. She was driven out. The woman was driven out.
I need spiritual friends, please. Spiritual friends of all kinds.
Not all kinds,
of all kinds.
No, not all kinds.
But that is how you learn about spirituality.
Now, my being a Christian, my giving my life to Christ, I developed my spiritual life as a pastor.
Sir, but you had exposure to a different aspect of spirituality
that is what
before you
it
then
helped
decided.
me. Yes, it helped me to understand, like I said, that as a child, seeing what my father was doing, one realization I had was that, look, for anybody to do well in this life, he must have spiritual power behind him. But I didn't know how to get that until I got born again. I saw a power that is superior, higher than my father's power. And you know what? God is ready to be my father, and he became my father. No, I don't have to, tell you stories of how I took advantage or exploited my father's power growing up as a child. I know they fear anybody. I know they fear anything. I know they fear Juju. I know they fear shrine. Why? Because I knew that my father had power. Before anything can happen to me, my father will know. Now, but crossing over, becoming a Christian, I discovered that there is a higher power. What I did was that the same way I reasoned, I said, if I had that confidence and trust in a man who died, how much more this Almighty God? You see, what people don't realize is that God is closer to us than we know. God is very much close. It's for you to open up your heart and welcome him. And since that time, God has, the same thing I was doing, the same confidence I had in my father, I transferred it to God. Let me tell you a story. I was in a village. I was in a town as a pastor. And then we used to have meetings, pastoral meetings, where they give us information of what is happening in every other part of the mission. Now, for 3 consecutive meetings, there was a particular area of the mission, because the mission was had the administrative blocks, called districts. So we don't. So each street is governed independent, but we get information of what is happening during the central executive meeting. They pass information down. So this village, they keep on bringing information for 3 meetings. Then I was coming back one day from the meeting, thought of what was going on. I said, what's happening in this village? Something told me, don't you know it's a devil response? I said, devil? What kind of devil? Does he have 7 heads? I wish I could be sent there. I would like to handle that devil. That's the kind of person I am. So I did not tell anybody. It was just anger in my spirit. 2 weeks. 2 weeks after was the central executive meeting. I was not a member. They decided they were going to transfer me to that village. And I was happy. You know why I was happy? I was leaving town to go to village, but I was happy that let me see that devil that is stronger than the God I serve. And do you know that that goddess visited? I had a visitation from that goddess. She came to see,
In your dream.
not dream, it was like a trance, because when I, of course, going to that place, I went fasting and praying, and a lot of things. I'm talking about 80s now. A lot of things happened. Some of the people I pastored there, they are still there, and I can tell you testimony stories of deliverances, of healings, Now, when I came, I slept. I was fasting, okay? I was doing some days of fasting. So, when you're fasting, sometimes if it's days, in the day, sometimes you become weak. You say, let me go and lie down and have some rest. I wasn't sleeping. It was like a trance. I saw this tall, beautiful, elegant lady looking through the window, looking at me. I just opened my eyes instantly. I said, who is this? Who is this? And the Holy Spirit said, that is the goddess of the land. That since I came in my activities, she sent some powers to go and fight me. They came back defeated. Now, she now came to see for herself, who can this be in my domain? When I realized that, I now asked them also, where is your principal shrine? They told me inside the bush, and I went there to see for myself. I can tell you stories, real stories, not imaginary. That's the village where I was, where this girl, because they were disturbing everywhere in church before I got there. So when I come in, everybody will be afraid. Everybody will just, if they were doing something, they will comport. One day, this girl was brought for deliverance. He was in class 4 in secondary school then. No, before that time, the father gave testimony in church. The father was an elder in my church, in the church, that village where I was transferred to. The father gave testimony, said that the thing is so emotional for him that it happened some time ago, but he's not able to testify because of the way it happened. He said he woke up one morning, and after their prayers, their lastborn refused to greet anybody. He was to greet your mother. He shook head. Greet her. So he punished him. So he punished him for 3 days until he said he realized, something told him, don't you know that this child has become dumb? Oh, he went into prayer and fasting. He said he was praying and fasting 24 hours overnight. He said that boy was the one who came early in the morning to wake him, Baba, Baba, and greeted. He said he felt so sad for the punishment he gave to the child. But you know what happened? Months down the line, this girl, the daughter, I was praying for her for deliverance. That was when she began to confess. When she was small, she was going to school. She got to the front of a shrine and saw money, penny in those days, in front of that shrine, and picked it and bought something with it. He said in the night, certain people came, these powers from the water, said, as I followed them into the water, that was how she was initiated. She was initiated and then began to do terrible things. She said she wasn't menstruating. Like what we said before, he said he has a waistband. It can't be seen physically. That when the time comes for him to menstruate, the waistband will appear physically. But it's not there, and he won't menstruate. Somebody who was in class 4 in secondary school. Now, he said, the father being an elder, they wanted to get the father. So, what happened? That penny, according to her, was always in her palm. That is, from the day he picked it. If he wanted to materialize, if they want her to initiate somebody, that money will materialize. Once he buys something and gives to the person to eat, the person become initiated. So one day, he said he was told to buy granite and give to the father. She bought granite and gave to the father. He said the father collected it, and on second thought, like, return, I don't want to eat. He kept the granite. He didn't know what to do with it. The second day, the father returned from the farm and wanted to take gari, smoke gari. And he said, Daddy, that granite is good with gari, take. The father still refused. An elder in church. So he said on the third day, he didn't know what to do. So that was why he gave the granite to that small boy. It was that granite that boy ate and became dumb after eating it. So all this confession came out during deliverance. She confessed what happened. I never told the man, I never told the father what happened, because the father so doted on them. He would not agree. He would not believe that, yes, he would say, I'm lying against the daughter. But that's what happened. So life is real. Spiritual life is real. So that's all I can say, because I could give so many other examples.
And we've spoken for over 3 hours now,
Okay.
if not more than. It's a very long conversation about African spirituality. This is something a lot of people care less about. Some people do not believe it exists, while others, they've experienced it firsthand. And I'll be very happy to speak to anyone who also has something to say about their own experience with African spirituality. Thank you so much, sir, for blessing us with this episode of the Locudo Experience. We sincerely appreciate. I'd like you to do a formal introduction of yourself to the viewers. Let them know you.
Okay. Abel Asiago is my name. I'm a lawyer by His grace. First and foremost, I'm a minister of the gospel of Christ. I came from Delta State. I live in Asaba. So that's I practice law now, but I'm also a preacher of the gospel. Thank you.
All right, so he's a pastor. He actually came because he wanted to speak to someone that featured on my show, Abraham, who was once a former pastor, but right now he doesn't believe God exists. So he came all the way for that, just to speak to him, to encourage him, and maybe help him find his way back to God. And while we were discussing, I discovered that from his background, he had some knowledge about African spirituality. So this episode is no way trying to promote it, but just to prove its existence, that there are powers. But then he insists that the greatest power is the power from God Almighty.
Yes.
And he's encouraging Christians to please take their spiritual lives very seriously, because we are surrounded by powers that we cannot see. They move around us every day. They are above, beneath us, by our right, by our side, behind, and in front of us. And some of us are not spiritually awakened yet to understand and to notice these things. I hope you've been able to learn something from this episode. At this point, we'll have to say goodbye to you guys. If you found this really insightful, kindly leave a comment and share to anybody who you think might be interested to watch this. If you also have something to talk about when it comes to African spirituality, please reach out to me via email, or you can contact the phone number you are seeing on the screen. Thank you so much for watching this episode. The audio version is going to be uploaded on Spotify. You can go to Spotify, search the Locudo Experience, and remain blessed. Let's say bye to the viewers, sir.
Hello,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And bye.
God bless you.